I just learned today because we're getting ready to we're gonna go bowling up Scranton way this week, right? And I learned that Southside Bowl and whatever the one up in Dixon City,
right,
are both idle hour lanes, and it's now one is north and one is south.
Yep, I heard that on the radio the other day.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And then I learned, because I've been to the Dixon City one a bunch, and I say a bunch, like 3 times in the last, 4 years, right?
Right.
And that's more times than I've been to Southside Bowl, which is what it'll always be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hear that, Southside Bowl has, all this fancy shit now, So I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've only been for Southside. I never really bowled at Southside.
Mm-hmm.
I was only ever in Poor Richard. Is it Poor Richard's?
It is Poor Richard's Pub.
For football. I've been in there for football, but not nothing else. I may have been in there to play some video games at night.
Yeah.
But like I said, mostly just, I don't think I ever played pool or bowled, like I said.
Well, I remember at the very least one time you and I and Josh were at the one up in Dixon City when we met and we were killing some time before we went to go see Inhumans.
Okay.
And you know how that one's all hipped up and fancy and has the big arcade now and stuff?
Vaguely, yes.
And a laser tag area, apparently.
Okay, I know there was a laser tag place literally a stone's throw from my house.
That place is sadly closed.
Yes, that I found out a few months ago.
We found out when we were trying to figure out what we were doing and where we were setting up for Ace's birthday back in his birthday's in October, so we were looking in September. And we went to look into that place because he had had it there once or twice before, and he'd been 2 or 3 other birthdays there. And and we went to look them up, and they're closed. We're like, oh dang,
Yeah, I've drove by it a million times, but I always drive by it during the day.
Yeah,
there's not a whole hell of a lot of laser tag going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
When it was even open, so.
Right. So I'll be interested to see what Southside Bowl looks like.
Yeah. And I've gone a couple of times. I did go to Poor Richard's. There was a time when I was going, hanging out in there. There was a couple of people I knew that went for karaoke. I would never sing, but I was there for a couple of nights, getting a little tuned up, if you know.
That Poor Richard's was a hot place to go in the late 90s, early 2000s, pre 9/11, let's say.
Right. This was after that. This was maybe 5-10 years ago for me. So
I know when Studebaker would come in when he was still out at State College, we would go there. We would go see someone play at Tink's. And then if the bartenders that we knew weren't working at Tink's, we would go to Poor Richard's.
Right.
Because it's a quick drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you park on the street that the comic book shop is on, and you walk back to your car, it's just a straight line until you get to the McDonald's, and then that's a little rough road to navigate.
Yeah. The McDonald's is gone, though, isn't it?
No, the McDonald's is still there.
Oh, you mean down in Southside?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm talking about, remember when the McDonald's was over by where the Globe was?
Remember when there was an Arby's across the street from the McDonald's over by where the Globe was?
Yes, I do.
Oh, and it had the Arby's had a basement that you can go in and sit.
Yes, if that's where you could hide that you're eating Arby's. And then do you remember in there was a wine store for a while?
No, that I don't remember.
Okay, there was a wine store in that brick building. And then when they would have First Fridays, they would sell wine, and you could walk the streets with it, and these in the plastic fake martini wine glasses.
Oh, no way! But only on First Friday?
Yes. They would sell you wine whenever, but they wouldn't sell wine by the glass. You know what I mean?
They would only allow public intoxication one Friday a month.
Right. And they would have the streets kind of, sort of, I think even in front of the Globe, closed off for something. But then they would have and I remember because me and a couple of friends went in, we walked in, they were like, they would have like you could get a taste. You could get like a NyQuil glass of wine to try. And then if you like that, like before you buy, and we walked in, I'll never forget. I was like, oh, they have blueberry wine. I want to try that. It's like, can I get blueberry wine? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. We're all out of, samples of the blueberry wine. I was like, oh, okay. I wanted a glass. They're like, a glass? Okay, we can open up another bottle for you. So I was like, oh, what? You weren't going to open it if I just wanted the taste? They're like, no. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll take the glass. I missed
the Globe.
I missed the Globe, too. My father got popped by his mother in the Globe during school. I don't tell father's stories often, but this is a story my father told me. My father was in senior year, and when he was 18. I don't remember if he was held back or if he just turned 18 while he was in the senior year.
Like 17 to 19 is the age for senior year.
Right. But my father, and these are his exact words, he goes, so I was tagging my teacher, the female teacher.
Uh-huh.
He's like, so, and she used to let me skip out on class and take her car. And he took his car down to the Globe, and he was in there like just skipping class. And my father, like me, we're big peanuts / cashews. Like we're a nutty family, if you will. And he was buying. Remember they had like the candy counter and everything in there.
Yes.
He was buying peanuts or cashews or whatever, and he turned around, and my grandmother was standing behind him. And she was like, what are you doing here? Now, my grandmother loved my father. And my father, bit of a dirtbag, lied to her all the time. But my grandmother believed him each and every time. My grandfather never believed him. But my grandmother believed him every time. And he's like, oh, the teacher lent me the car to go get her peanuts or cashews or whatever. She's like, okay, well, you better get back to class.
That's
like,
mostly true.
Mostly true.
Right.
But, so I always laughed at that he was like, oh, I was tagging my teacher.
I was going to say it's a different time and you can't judge, but I think that still goes on these days.
That is true. Well, I tell you, when the statute of limitations is over, I'm going to have a whole bunch of stories on this show. You know what I mean?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
We'll have to extend this longer than the main show some weeks.
Yes. Very interesting guy.
So nothing else doing this week? Getting ready for the big game this weekend? Do you care?
I don't. Just because two of the teams are way up on the list of Raiders rivals, I don't like both of them. But of the two, and I don't think Marcus listens to this because
he might.
Go Chiefs. But equally, go Eagles, in case Brett's listening.
I know Brett does listen for sure.
Okay. But I'm kind of... I don't want the Chiefs to win, kind of. Just by a smidge. But like 51%, I don't want the Chiefs to win. 49%, I don't want the Eagles to win. But I will be watching. I don't know where yet. I've been... I got my family invited me up, and I don't know if anybody else is. So I think we should go up to DJ's compound and have like a big Rumble party.
Oh, I could swing by on my way home because I go with my dad's on Sundays for dinner.
Right.
And he usually does like, a spread for, it's like me, April, Asa, and then my brother, his wife, and his two kids come down. And then this Sunday is actually my little nephew's birthday.
Oh, he was born on Super Bowl Sunday. Cool.
Well, it falls on that day. So,
I know it moves every year.
And his actual party is the following Saturday, but like the Sunday is his actual birthday, so it's going to be less Super Bowl and more Lightning McQueen.
Oh, well, they're about equal in my eyes. So.
Right. I kind of hope the Eagles win. Like, I have no stake in the game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I say I hope the Eagles win because, like, they're, the hometown team, right?
Right. Like they always say about the Eagles, they would boo the Pope if he dropped a pass, Joe.
Right. Well, they booed Santa.
They booed Santa and threw snowballs at him.
Snowballs, ice balls, first of all.
Yes.
And second of all, they've thrown it's more of a baseball thing, but the football as well. They would throw the batteries at the opposing teams.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the time, it had to be like 70s-ish, where they had like the judge on site to arraign people while they were committing crimes.
Oh yeah, they had the courtroom in the basement of the vet.
Yeah.
Next to all the home, like the stray cats that would run around the stadium.
And we saw like a dusting of partying in the streets when they clinched and made it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
If they win the Super Bowl, it's going to be insufferable.
Oh, well, I mean, they won one time, but now it's interesting because the coach Andy Reid for the Chiefs was the coach for the Eagles for all those years, and he couldn't get it done.
Yeah. And
then he went, to the Chiefs, and he got it done with Mahomes, Dynasty of one.
Oof.
That's a great quote from Pardon the Interruption I use all the time. The one guy, Wilbon, he's like, everybody talks about Mahomes. He's the greatest quarterback who ever lived. Dynasty of one. Come and see me when he's got like 2 or 3. So every time they don't win, I'm like, Dynasty of one. But he, moved over there. So they want to win against the coach that couldn't win. And he wants to win against the team that didn't, keep him around. So it's, it's got history. The NFL, when they were using the pencil to figure out who's going to be in the Super Bowl, they knew what they were doing.
When they were writing the script for the season.
Sure. Yep.
I wish I could remember who it was, but there was like a podcast thing going around. This can be like the vaguest thing ever. Former NFL player, he went on a podcast.
Right.
And completely all of them with a straight face said that the NFL season is scripted every year.
Mm-hmm.
And they just it was a bit that they did, right?
Oh, and I love bits.
I love bits too, but people were up in arms.
Right? Sure, they're betting on it.
And it's like they were talking like, oh yeah, you'll get your script and it'll say like this guy goes out with an injury this year because he has like a trip planned with his family and you know what I mean? And like nobody was laughing. Nobody was like, all right, we're gonna peel back the thing now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arian Foster,
right?
Is that someone that you know?
I know of Arian Foster.
Okay, and then he was on one of the Barstool Sports podcasts.
Okay,
it's like a week ago, maybe.
Right.
And like it was just a whole thing about like how it's rigged and it's a bit and so on and so forth. And like that, it was very clearly a joke, and they came out like days later, but the video of them saying it is out there, and that's enough that some people need.
Oh yeah, sure. It's like
now they're trying to walk it back because it got traction,
Right, now it's like those deep fakes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the deep fakes. I hate those too, but
now I've seen people say there's like Seinfeld ones.
There's some pretty good ones, man.
Okay.
I've seen some ones with some fine young actresses doing things
okay.
that I feel like they're down on their luck, according to these videos.
Are you going to have to give a sobbing apology on your live stream?
I don't understand that.
So there was, about 2 weeks ago, there was a YouTube streamer
who
was caught buying deep fakes of other YouTube streamers.
Okay.
And then when it was revealed that they were when it was revealed that they were fakes, and 2, when he was caught, he then did a apology on his YouTube stream while his wife was crying in the background, like she's sitting in the background while he's giving the apology.
Okay.
He got,
Yep. I'm purchasing deep fakes of Michelle saying she loves wrestling if anybody has them.
Okay.
Just so you know. But
now I want to play this one for you, okay?
Okay. Do I need to... Is it a video or audio?
It's going to be audio.
Okay.
You're going to see the screen, though. Maybe you've seen them going around, but like you might get a kick out of this.
Okay.
Can you see the screen? Because there is something else I have to play for you as well.
All right. It's just popped up. I'm moving my mic, so it might sound different.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gorilla Monsoon. Welcome to my podcast. I'm saying whatever the fuck I want. This is my yearly reminder that Lex Luger can fuck right off for calling me fat at WrestleMania 8. Yeah, I said it. Fuck all the way off. And your American flag shirt sucked too. Body slam my ass. The brain was right. It was a hip toss.
I said I'm free.
So I'm not going to play the whole thing.
Thank you.
But there's like a ton of them. And it's so funny because it sounds just like Gorilla and it's going through all the stuff that he said. And then like later they'll get like him and Bobby Heenan's his co-host of the podcast. And then Mean Gene comes in and Jesse Ventura comes in, you know?
Right.
So that's as deep as I've gotten with deep fakes.
All right. So since we have like 600 and some shows.
Yeah.
Is there a way we could like get like a synthesizer and we could just have somebody deep fake the whole show?
Probably.
Oh, that would be great. And then we could collect those Patreon checks.
And just those Patreon checks.
Yes. Uh-oh, I see some coding. I don't know what that is.
Don't worry about what this is. This is my text file.
Okay.
And these are my notes that I keep. So when I, like, as we're recording, I'll write stuff down so I make sure to include it into the description of After Dark.
Gotcha.
And I can't turn it off yet because there is one more thing that I have to play for you that's not a deep fake.
Okay. Oh, I'm scared now. You're just lucky I can't read that fine print. So
right. But yeah, so, you know, have fun, go out, I don't know, check with DJ and Michelle to see if they're doing something. I'm sure as long as you're bringing the blue cheese, they'll be happy to have you.
Right. Michelle's an Eagles fan, so
right.
They might be doing something.
Right.
Unless she's a fake Eagles fan. Like, you know, I don't know. But because DJ's a Giants fan, so that must make that relationship interesting.
Right. I always think about that whenever they line up with each other, you know, like when I do the pigskin pick'ems, I'm like, oh, Todd likes the Raiders and my friend Joey likes the Bears and Marcus likes the Chiefs and Brett and Michelle. And it's like, I do this thing where like, how many people do I know that like that one team? And the more that there are, like when they're facing each other, right?
Right.
It's like, well, I know 3 people that like the Eagles, but I only know 2 people that like the Chiefs. So I'm going with the Eagles this week.
You're doing some helmet math.
Yeah. Did I see them teasing that? Is it Brett? Is it Marcus? Is it both of them that they're going to do an NBA jersey podcast?
Well, I saw that DJ put out that he really liked this jersey because somebody was asking about their favorite jerseys of all time, and I'm like, you guys should do a jersey podcast about this. I mean, because, you know, the NBA doesn't have helmets. All they have is the jerseys. And I'm like, I will 100% admit this has nothing to do with me because I don't understand the get the ball in the peach basket game, you know? So by all means, go and do it. You could use our spot, you know, from No Chance in Helmet, come up with a cute little name, blah, blah, blah. We'll figure something out, you know?
Right.
I hope they do it. I would really like to see Marcus do more podcasts he doesn't want to do.
Right. How long did it take you to get him to do No Chance in Helmet? Like almost 2 years.
It took Tim saying that if I came to the brewery wrestling match,
okay,
that he would get Marcus to do the Helmet podcast, not knowing that somebody had a ticket that they couldn't use and gave to me. And I was like, let's see, I could go do this. Tim will have to get Marcus to do the Helmet podcast. And then I'll get so drunk I forgot I saw wrestling. It was win-win all around, Joe.
Always the best way to do it, I guess, right?
Yeah, so. And now I heard, like, people keep sniffing around if there's going to be an XFL one, but I don't know. Which starts, like, the week after.
I know! That's the last 2 times that the XFL happened, that's how they did it, right?
Yep.
This time, I've literally heard nothing.
Right.
Until I think just this past Monday, I saw somebody tweet out, it's like, Oh yeah, I got my XFL tickets. The first game is like in 2 weeks.
Jeez. And it's because it's ESPN related, because pardon the interruption that I mentioned before, Wilbon with the Dynasty 1, like because they're such big stars on ESPN, like they don't have to be rah-rah about it, and they can kind of tweak it. Like, you know, where everybody else, if you're a nobody, you're like, oh, I can't wait for the XFL. And they'll be like, like the XFL, it's like the UFL and the AF, the AAFF, just all that. So they really don't care. But that's how I knew it was coming again, because their games are going to be on ESPN. And I'm like, oh, this ought to be fun. I hope they keep the football thing where they run to the 50-yard line and bust up their ribs diving on a thing holding a ball.
I think they got rid of that the second iteration.
Right. Well, now it's every, odd time you have to bring it back. So, but I'm looking to see, because it is ESPN is covering it. I have to see if they're doing picks for that, Joe.
All right.
I doubt it, but I'll have to look. So.
All right. Well, I could check right now while we're talking.
Well, you do that. They probably aren't, but because I haven't seen anything.
No, they don't even have, as I go to like their whatevers,
Right, because they have like the playoff stuff.
They don't even have XFL listed as a sport across the top of their feed.
Right, not even when you go to more?
Isn't
there more somewhere on there?
I see World Wrestling Entertainment.
Ugh. Get that out of my ESPN.
Okay, XFL. There you go.
See?
Oh, check out the fresh new jerseys and helmets. All right.
I know. There's so many of them. I think we could get at least 2 shows out of that.
No, just do a one-off, maybe 2 off. No, I messaged Marcus and I said, when are you guys getting together to do this?
I think we did that a while ago, and shockingly, I think he no-sold it.
Okay. There's your standings, and no, they're not doing the pick'ems yet.
Drat. That's right. I could curse on this show, but I won't. So
right. See, look, they have the 2019-2020 season listed in here, but they don't have the. Oh, that's right, because the 20 season got cut short because of COVID.
Yep.
But they don't have the 2001-2002 season in there.
Right. The one time Vince had bad luck.
Right, the one time.
Right.
All right. So there is one more thing that we need to cover here on the show, right?
Okay.
If you saw on the website over at longboxheroes.com, on the weekend I did 2 Robservations, and I'm more or less caught up, right?
Okay.
He did back-to-back episodes that were going to be prime with him making fun of Todd McFarlane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did the write-ups. Hopefully everybody reads them. I listen to the Rob and understand the Rob so you don't have to. Mm-hmm. But then something happened on one of the episodes. Okay.
Okay.
And I have to play it for Todd and for you, the listeners. Okay.
Ringtone maker?
Nope. This is why you could see my screen.
Okay.
At the end of every show, I read your reviews, and you guys are always so generous. These reviews help us stand out on the platform. They help elevate the profile, and I am so appreciative that you guys are just dropping reviews like crazy. I read them at the end of every show. I always appreciate the positive expressions that you share. And today I'm going to share. It's brief. It's to the point. It's really fun. It's from a gentleman called CDH 2K10. Again, I love the handles. I love all of your guys' different handles. It's CDH 2K10. He says, the Rob. I love this. The Rob is a Longbox hero. The Rob is a Longbox hero. He gives us five stars. Very brief. Says always fresh, informative, bombastic, and then he puts in caps. Never boring. The Rob brings it with every episode and never fails to entertain. Thank you, Rob, and keep up the great work! Exclamation point. Hey.
So.
Right. Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Todd, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, is someone like pulling a rib on me or something?
Right.
So I go back and I look to it, and they are a listener of ours.
Mhm.
I see that they left feedback on us many, many years ago.
Right.
And I would like to think the fact that they just did this recently, that they still are a listener. So if that is you, and I know, and now Todd, I would never say that the Rob is a functioning illiterate,
Right.
but the Rob might be a functioning illiterate.
Okay.
Because at one time he says that it's CVH, and then he says CDH. So
Right.
if you are CDH2K10, and that is you, just give us a shout out. The fact that you got the Rob to call himself the Rob and get us mentioned there on the show.
That may become my text notification sound. Him just saying the Rob. Oh, and I love the fact that you did a Robservations and somehow I didn't lose money.
Not yet.
Give it time. Oh.
Yeah, but when I heard that, I'm like, oh, I included that in the write-up, but it's one thing for me to write it, and it's another thing for you to hear it.
Right. And I mean, I would have got around to it on because on my long list of podcasts, the Rob is up there. So, but I'm glad you sped that along for me. So.
Right. I got right to the point. I'm not here to mess around, you know?
Yeah, but the only thing I was mad there wasn't a giant sniff in there somewhere.
There was like 3 sniffs. They were little ones, right?
Well, the little ones don't count. I want to
a big hit of a rail, you know?
Yep, Spectrox down. Here we go.
Allegedly.
Right.
But yeah, so that's it, I think, for this week, right?
Could we do any more? That's enough, Joe.
No, I think we've done enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hey, go check out the Patreon, like Todd mentioned, patreon.com/longboxheroes. We had some new folks sign up. We had some new people change their level. We do appreciate that. You've been with us for a long time. You get the 2 bonus shows every month. You get the scans of the previews catalogs. $5 and up, you get Longbox Heroes After Dark 2 days before everyone else, so you get it in the correct listening order. And again, especially now that we lost the Amazon thing, everything is greatly appreciated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was told to mention here the soft rollout of @oddswrestling.com.
Okay.
I don't know. You do with that that information what you will, right?
Right.
Somebody said, tell people to go to that site, but don't tell them about the things on the site. And I'm like, well, if I tell them to go to the site, they're going to see the things on the site. And he goes, yeah, just don't say what the things on the site are. I'm like, whatever. Whatever. I don't know.
This FDC would never do something like that.
I'm just saying.
That's all.
Yeah, some people came around.
Yep, they did. They're on board.
The blessings work for them, and all of a sudden they're a believer, right?
I heard FDC takes all converts, Joe.
He doesn't turn you away. You worship FDC in the way that you worship him, right?
That's right. That's right.
You're listening to the soon-to-be.
All right, thanks everyone for listening.
The Lamborghini of podcast networks.